Hi guys, it's Danny. Alrighty, today we're gonna talk about the orchids that I potted in the Orchitop pots. Now, a few months ago, I made a video in which I presented these pots and I actually potted something in them. If you missed that video but would like to see it, I will add it in an annotation or actually an info card right here on the screen, so you can click that and learn more about these pots. But let's focus on the update today, and I'm gonna share with you a few observations that I made. Now, overall, my orchids are actually doing beautiful in these pots. I've used them during my summertime and I really was expecting them to dry out way too fast. But actually, it didn't really happen like that. Indeed, they did dry out faster than orchids potted in sphagnum moss or stuff like that. However, they didn't dry up that much faster than the pots I usually use with Phalaenopsis orchids. My pots are plastic, but I make a lot of ventilation holes. Also, I use pure bark chips because I want to provide that aeration, ventilation, and so on. I'll give you a few statistics. In my summertime, which can get quite hot, I can have 28 degrees in my balcony. Also, it's not very humid. I kind of had to water this particular Phalaenopsis every 4 days or so. I actually submerged the pot in a different bowl. I let it sit there for 10 minutes or so, and then I just put it back in its place. Practically how I watered the other orchids. Regarding the Vanda, because this is a slightly different beast and it likes a lot of ventilation, I just took it into the shower. I actually have a video on how I water this Vanda. I'll add it again in a info card on the screen so you can watch it. Again, I watered this every 3 to 4 days or so, depends. This one, however, has some chunks of lava rock around, so it's not only media, because this type of orchid really does need a lot of ventilation. However, I didn't overdo it with watering. I was actually expecting to water much more often. Regarding the media, I actually discovered that the whole point of the Seramis, in combination with bark in this media, with the kiwi bark, is there to provide actually more moisture. Seramis holds in more moisture, but is also ventilated. So that kind of balanced out the drying. So overall, the pot really worked well with the media. Actually, Orchitop suggests that you use this type of media. But of course, you can go creative and use sphagnum moss or other types of things. Now I'll bring you in closer and I'll show you the root development, given it's not very much in a few months, but you can see some stuff. With the Phalaenopsis orchid, it has grown a few roots inside the pot. Also with the Vanda orchid, it's starting to grow quite a lot of roots inside the pot, but what I've noticed is that they're not necessarily very keen to get out of the pot. Of course they can get out through the vents, but they will also stay in, so practically swirling inside the pot. That's not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes you do want the roots to stay in the pot and absorb that moisture. However, this type of pot is prone to having aerial roots and roots coming out of it at some point or another. That's again normal. If you live in a climate which is temperate to cool temperate, these types of pots might actually work very, very well for you. They provide a lot of ventilation. I think you're absolutely safe from root rot. Of course, if you use airy media and so on, but because it has tons of ventilation, I really think you're safe from root rot. I think the roots are really happy. However, if you live in a climate which is pretty dry, possibly even hot, I am really not sure how these pots will work for you. As I told you, in my summertime, they did work better than I expected, but I can imagine that in a warmer or hotter or drier climate than mine, because there is such a thing, they might make you water quite a lot more often. If you're okay with that, there's really no trouble. If you're not okay with watering too often, maybe they will not perform so well for you. From the aesthetics point of view, well, that's a personal thing. Of course, if you have a greenhouse, you don't necessarily care how the pots look like, and actually the main attraction of these pots is the shape and the color and all of that. So I would place something like this in my home because it does combine the benefits of airiness and all of that. Also, this type of pot is transparent. You can see what's going on in the pot. Not that you cannot see what's going on in this pot, but it's harder. So it kind of combines the aesthetics, let's say, with the functionality. I have to say I'm pretty impressed with these types of pots. I personally would put them in a house rather than a greenhouse. However, there are people who do like more natural approaches to things, so I'm not sure this will be to their liking. Again, this is a personal taste. If you like how it looks like, definitely go for it and put it in your home. I think it's much better than a conventional pot. If you are a beginner, I think it's really easy to see what's going on. I think the orchid will be happy with the extra ventilation. However, you need to be careful what type of orchid you pot in this type of media. I do have some viewers, or actually some forum participants on orchidnature.com who managed to grow Phalaenopsis orchids in something like this. But I have other people who have struggled with some orchids in these types of pots, so it really depends what type of orchid you're using with this pot. I can tell you that Phalaenopsis I think are great for something like this because they're really prone to root rot if they get suffocated. Vanda orchids as well, I think they're very well suited because they do like a lot of ventilation. So those types of orchids which really like to dry out in between waterings, Cattleya orchids as well, and Cattleya family orchids, I think actually they will do really well in something like this in an environment that is not super hot or super dry. However, with orchids that do like to stay quite a lot more moist, I am not sure. I do need to test it out. Maybe a combination of sphagnum moss or more Seramis might work for them as well, because orchids who like moisture do like ventilation as well, but it's all about how often you need to water and about your lifestyle. If you don't have that time to water, maybe this will not suit you very well. In any case, it is to be tested. I intend to use these pots further on. I'm really pleased with how things are going, I have to say, and I'm really pleased with the Vanda in this type of media, because sometimes it's hard for us to find a place to hang it in our home. And really, I think it's doing absolutely wonderful in this media, and I don't necessarily need to water it every day. Now that it's winter, actually autumn, I think I water this every 5 days. Phalaenopsis, 5 to 7 days or so. They really do last that much, and I think the Seramis has an important saying in this because it does retain quite a lot of water. So with these pots, it's important to take into consideration the type of media you're using, the type of orchid you have potted, and other than that, just your personal taste, if you like how it looks like or you don't. I actually give it a go. I'm actually surprised it went this well. I do like the design. I would keep this in a house, not necessarily a greenhouse really, but in the house definitely I will keep them. And I would go for Phalaenopsis orchids in these pots really, more than anything else, and Vanda orchids and possibly Cattleya orchids. Other than that, with oncidiums and stuff, I don't know. I have some concerns regarding the whole moisture retention thing, but it's to be tested. Anyway, if you're interested in something like this, I'll add in an annotation below the link to Orchitop for Europe. And also, if you are in the USA, I know there are some distributors, some stores that sell these things. I'll try to find them. I think repotme.com has them. Anyway, I'll make a little bit of research and I'll add it in the annotation below. So overall, I'm okay with these pots, taking into consideration all the external factors that I've told you about. It's up to you to decide if this is something that would be useful for you or not, or if it looks good or not. It's totally up to you. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and a share. Subscribe to my channel for daily orchid videos. Also, feel free to leave me comments, questions, or suggestions for videos, and I will make a video for you if I have something interesting to show you or answer you in a comment once a day. If you click on the left side of your screen, you'll be directed to orchidnature.com, where you'll find care sheets, identification sheets, and also you can talk to us in the forum section. And on the right side of your screen, you can click to watch another orchid video. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye!